Hey loves, welcome back to the Swatches YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Ofune and I am the face behind some of the arm swatches you might be seeing floating around on your social media feed. So welcome or welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about some of my favorite affordable complexion products. A lot of you have been asking me for recommendations or my everyday makeup routine, but there are just so many products that it's hard to narrow it down. But before we get into anything further, we have a word from our sponsor. Yes, y'all, we are sponsored. Today's video is sponsored by EOS and their tinted shea lip balms. So hopefully you could tell by the name, they have shea butter in them, which gives you a 24-hour hydration on your lips. They are affordable and they are tinted. So the great thing about these is that the colors are buildable. There are different types of colors for different occasions. You could wear a very subtle color that is more of kind of like an everyday or just running to the store look, or you can do what I'm about to show you all right now, which is something that's a little bit more, I wouldn't say dramatic, but just a little bit more color. So this is the shade Merlot, and what I like to do, or more Merlot, so what I like to do with this shade is just place it right in the center of the lips, just to give a little bit of an extra pop. I already kind of have pink right here, so it just kind of enhances what I already have going on. So these shea lip balms are available now. I'll have more info in the description box below. Hopefully you enjoyed this quick little demo. So without further ado, let's get into what you all have been waiting for, my affordable complexion favorites. So I thought for this video that I would do kind of more of a not a voiceover, but a talk through. I have a hard time doing my makeup and talking at the same time, especially when I'm trying to concentrate. So I've already kind of shown the look that I created with the affordable products. So I'm just going to talk through them with you right now. Here we are. So the first thing I apply is my foundation. You might be wondering, what about primer? Honestly, I don't really use any drugstore primers. I really didn't start believing in primers until the Milk Makeup primer, and I know that's not drugstore, so I didn't really want to include it in this video, and I didn't really have time to kind of do like a ton of tests to see if any primers were comparable. I'm sure there are great drugstore primers on the market right now, but just for me personally, if you didn't know, I have combination oily skin. I just don't have a primer that I use from the drugstore. So we're just gonna jump straight into foundation. So the foundation that we're starting off with is this CoverGirl foundation. It is their matte made. I believe it came out last year, and it comes in 40 shades. Now the reason why I picked this foundation over some of the other foundations on the market, because there are a lot of good foundations on the market. There are some from NYX, L'Oreal has great, Maybelline, but this foundation I feel like has a duality to it that maybe the others don't, in that it is very buildable. So when and hopefully I'll show you in the try on somewhere on the screen, if you only apply like one pump, you get kind of a very sheer but very kind of blurring mattifying coverage. But if you apply, like me, 4 pumps, you can get up to like a more full coverage look without it looking too cakey. So I kind of like that about this foundation, and I feel like it's pretty affordable. I believe it's under $10. I'll double check that, but yeah, I just feel like this is a foundation that lots of different people can enjoy, and it has a good shade range. You know, like I said, Maybelline really does complexion well. I love their Superstay foundation, the stick and the liquid. L'Oreal just came out with a new fresh wear foundation that's really good. ColourPop has a lot of affordable complexion products. So I know that there's others on the market, but that's the reason why I chose that one specifically. So yeah. Next, we're getting into concealer. Some of my fave concealers are from Maybelline. Like I was just saying, Maybelline does complexion so well. So their Age Rewind concealers are probably one of the first products that sold me on what concealer can actually do. Like I kind of used to just, you know, follow those pictorials and just kind of place it where you're supposed to, but I really didn't see, like, I mean, I saw the effect, obviously it lifts, but like this concealer actually like has properties and ingredients that really make you look more awake and make your under eyes cancel out any darkness. So that's what I love about them. I do mix shades. Not because I have to, but I just feel like in general, I usually tend to use 2 shades. So the first shade, Hazelnut, I use to kind of color correct and just even out the skin tone. And then the second shade is kind of more of an optional shade that's tan. It's a little bit lighter and has more of a yellow undertone. And I would use that to kind of achieve more of that brightness. So yeah, definitely check out Maybelline Age Rewind. And I believe they just extended the shade range. I'll double check that. I think that this is a great drugstore concealer. It's my probably, thinking about it, my favorite drugstore, I cannot talk. My favorite drugstore concealer on the market as of, yeah, today. So yeah. Next, we are getting into powder. To set it, I'm using the Full Spectrum CoverGirl Full Spectrum Matte Ambition, it's upside down. CoverGirl. So it's a CoverGirl Full Spectrum line, and it is their Matte Ambition All Day Powder Foundation. So this is actually a foundation, but I do like to use this to set the under eye when I'm going for, when I'm using more affordable products. I will say a little bit of a annoyance or a little bit of a tiff I have with CoverGirl Full Spectrum is that you cannot buy the Full Spectrum line in stores, and it's supposed to be targeted for, you know, women of color, people of color. So I really feel like that's a miss from CoverGirl. I think I've spoken about this briefly in a previous video, but I just feel like there's like, I don't understand why you would come out with a line geared for, you know, people with darker skin tones and things of that nature, but then not give them access to buy it right next to the other CoverGirl products. I feel like the products should just be integrated into the CoverGirl line or give us access to them in store. So I use this, and it's a pressed powder. So I just press this under the eye with my beauty blender or beauty sponge or whatever, and it seems to do the job. It's also great for blending all over the face as well. So next we have contour. I mentioned before that I love Maybelline. They do complexion really well. So I wanted to just make sure I use a Maybelline complexion product in this video. So I'm using their Super Stay stick here to contour. This is the shade Espresso. This is the darkest shade. I believe it's the darkest shade they carry. Most foundation sticks tend to slip or are really slippery or too creamy and make me look like an oil slick. So this is one of the few that I enjoy. So I just use this to just apply a little bit to the sides of my face, blend it out for my contour. And then on top of that, we have bronzer. So when this palette came out, talking about the Black Radiance Complexion Contour Palette, I feel like this was like every brown makeup lover's dream. Like anyone who had darker skin tone had this palette. And then later on, they came out with this dark to deep, which is even a better option if you have a darker skin tone. So this is what I use to bronze. I like to use this Sculpt shade right in the middle to add a little bit of warmth to the face. The contour shade is really dark and really harsh, so it's something that you would use with a light hand and when you're doing something super sculpted and super glam. So I tend to just stick with that sculpting shade. It gives me a right amount of warmth that I would need, and this is super affordable. I believe it's like under, I wanna say it's like $8 or $6. I don't know how much it is, but again, information will be in the description box below. But if you don't have this, get this. I mean, it does have a highlighter. The highlighter is pretty decent. And the contour, like I said, you just have to use a light hand, but you can get pretty good definition with it. So definitely, you know, a staple if you're looking for some affordable complexion. Next, we have highlight. So I wanted to highlight one of the probably best drugstore highlighters in the game, which is again Maybelline, their Master Chrome. You know, this is just one of the best highlighters on the market because of the shades that they have and how much of, I cannot tell. Basically, this is one of the best highlighters in the drugstore game. It really packs a punch. It has super good pigmentation. This is gonna last you like an entire year if you use it every day. This shade is actually not my favorite shade. This was recommended to me by a lot of you though. It's the Molten Topaz shade. And you'll see me demo it. I actually prefer the peach shade just because, I don't know, I just prefer it. But I wanted to try this one out because so many of you guys were ranting and raving about it. So, I mean, it's definitely very pretty. I just prefer like a little bit of peach on my cheeks. But I also wanted to show one of my other favorite highlighters, which probably doesn't get talked about as much, which is the Milani Bronze and Glow. This is actually an all over body and face highlighter, but it's just, I mean, look at it. It's gorgeous. So I really like this because of the bronzy tones that it has. It's just super, super pretty. Just the shade of bronze against dark skin. Just, whew. Yeah, I mean, this is my favorite drugstore highlighter at the moment, and the pan is just super big. You're gonna get a lot of use out of it. So not last but not least, so second to last, we're almost through all the products, is blush. So we have the L'Oreal. This is probably my all-time favorite drugstore blush. This is a L'Oreal Paradise Enchanted scented blush in the shade Charming. It's just the perfect shade of peach. Like, most brands don't go this deep when they give you a peach blush. So it has like a hint of brown in it, but it makes it look so pretty on deeper skin tones. And I don't think there's any other blush like this you can find in the drugstore. Like, I honestly don't. And it has a little bit of shimmer to it, so you can use it as a highlighter as well. It's just so pretty. All of the Paradise Enchanted blushes are pretty, but this is my favorite, especially for deeper skin tones. I will say there are other good blushes on the market. Milani has super pretty blushes. I believe Morphe has great blushes. ColourPop, lots of affordable blushes out there, but this has to be like my all-time fave, hands down. Okay, now last but not least, now we're getting into setting spray. Again, setting spray is something that I'm kind of like, I don't know if I'm a believer, but you know, we use it. So I have been enjoying lately the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, and as you can see in the video, it was on its last legs. I barely got like the last bit of it out. So I mean, I've enjoyed it clearly because I finished it. So it is kind of, I do like how it is continuous, and it's pretty affordable because it's Morphe. I usually just like to spray it and then pat it in with my beauty blender. And I'm finishing up this affordable look with my EOS Tinted Shea Lip Balm in Warmer Love. It's so crazy how, like, in a year or two, things have changed on the landscape. I mean, there's a time where you could never find, you know, a blush that was deep enough, or, you know, concealers, things to contour with from the drugstore. And now we have so many options, which is so awesome. You know, we still have a long ways to go in terms of just certain things, the way certain things are marketed. I mean, some part of the problem I feel like is that sometimes, you know, I'll do this video and people will be like, oh, I've never heard of this, or I've never heard of that. And it's like, well, I wonder why that is, you know. I don't know if with all of these launches, if the brands are necessarily reaching out to the market that they're making these products for. And I hope that they are, and I hope that they continue to make the products. I hope that they don't just go away. And it was just like, you know, a fad or a trend. That's always kind of the fear. But, you know, I'm optimistic. You know, I feel like we're seeing the beauty landscape change for the better for sure. And so I just can't wait to see what's next. So, you know, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know that there's some brands that I didn't really talk about much that I actually really do love. I know like NYX is one of them. I'm like off the top of my head rambling. There's a lot of brands that are creating things that are deeper skin friendly that honestly just like, there's just so much products these days that even as an influencer, you have to take a lot of time out to like truly and give every single product a fair chance. It takes a lot of time. So these are the products that either I've used in the past. I don't think any of these products actually are brand new. These are products that I stand by because I've used them. Like, yeah, every single product I mentioned today are products that, actually the newest one is the Milani one, but I mean, it doesn't take long to figure out you like a highlighter. But all of these products are kind of tried and true for me. They're not ones that have just come out, so you can trust that they are actually like things that I've used, not just like, you know, something that is just new and sexy, but actually, you know, these products work. I hope you enjoyed today's style of video. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thanks again to EOS for sponsoring today's video. I appreciate them. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more cool content, and like this video if you like what you saw today. All right, y'all, with that, I will say peace, and I will see you. I said peace, I didn't even give you a peace sign. I'll say peace, and I'll see you in the next video.